Sandra Bland is me. It hit me to my core to hear another woman say that another woman does not deserve to have a street named after her. It hit me to my core to hear that we are even discussing a name on a street pole. Sandra Bland was arrested and died. However the investigation may go and whatever may come of the investigation, that young woman is dead.
Yes.
I was telling Pastor Hannah on the way here that my father, who is in Chicago, called me at 5 o'clock in the morning when she died and told me, daughter, that is you. That could be you. And the reason that I have to drive from Houston to come here to Prairie View for the fact of a possibility that it can be rescinded on her name being on a street is ridiculous.
All right, sister.
All right?
Sister. All right.
There are too many atrocities that are happening in this world against Africans in America for us to be here in a room discussing the fact on whether her family should feel a bit of hope, on whether the fact that her family should feel a bit of pride.
Come on, sister.
It is actually deplorable.
Come on, go for it. Come on, sister.
As a woman and an African woman here in the United States, I would hope that I have a support of people behind me if hashtag I die in police custody. I would hope that I have a people behind me if I hashtag die in police custody, if I hashtag happen to be hanging from a jail cell, from a sheriff's office. I would hope that people will come to the city council from Chicago, Illinois to Houston, Texas to support my name being living on. I, on behalf of my parents who come from a long lineage of freedom fighters, of activists, and I, on behalf of the National Black United Front, support the naming of Sandra Bland Parkway.
Wow.
Thank you.
As a Black woman, I feel it's important to keep names like Sandra Bland alive because she is a Black woman. Just because she passed doesn't mean that she's not a part of our community. There are people who look like her, who act like her, who talk like her, who, you know, had the same struggles that she had, have the same family members that she had. And I think remembering the people who came before us and the people who fought for us is a way to pay homage and also a way to remember what we're continuing to do.
When I heard about the arrest, it was shocking. I was like, whoa, okay, this is Prairie View, this is Prairie View. But then the death, that's when it was like that clicking moment. It was that, oh my gosh, this is home. This just happened where all of the you know, broadcasting of all the people dying, all the Black people dying, was happening everywhere else but Prairie View. And when it hit home, it was like, wow, there's no escaping it. Not saying that, I mean, there's ever a chance that we can actually escape it, but it was real. That was the first time that I, along with others, have been a part of something like hands-on, something has happened in the area, and it's like, okay, well, no, definitely, what can I do to help? What can my voice do to help spread awareness? What can I do?
I'm always finding, with Hannah, ways to be out there and actually be a part of the marches, the movements, the talks, the things that make people uncomfortable being a part of.
My thoughts on the Sandra Bland Parkway being created here, it is a combination of two factors. I believe that on one hand, it is a milestone, and on the other hand, it can be used as a pacifier, depending on how we, the community, take it. So I think that it is a milestone in the sense that we were able to get it created here to where people have to say her name. When you pull up here, your GPS says her name, you say her name, and it forces a remembrance of her. At the same time, it should be a reminder of the fact that we have more work to do. And so it doesn't prove that justice has been served, as it hasn't thus far, but it is a good milestone. At the same time, if we do nothing with it and we are satisfied with just a street name change, it can become a pacifier in the sense that, hey, you have the name change, now be quiet. And that's not how I believe that we should take it.
When I spoke at the Sandra Bland Parkway revealing or opening, I commented on how Sandra Bland was one of those women who had a fire in her. She was a light, and it was up to young PV women like myself to make sure that that fire didn't die out or wasn't going to be put out.
There is a big problem beyond just my reach. And I knew that if I didn't do anything, and if I didn't fight for myself, nobody's gonna fight for me. Nobody is gonna see me. Nobody's gonna see someone that looks like me, someone like Sandra Bland, and respect them if I don't show respect for myself. So when I saw that there was a space in the line for me, of course I jumped in. And I wasn't certain about whether or not I was even gonna make a difference. I wasn't certain about if I was gonna be heard, but I had to fight for myself, and I had to show myself that respect that I wasn't being shown.
I do it because I feel like it's a part of me, not just a part of me, but also my great grandmother, who was never able to speak up for things like this because she was always shut down or put down or told that she couldn't. And I just feel like it's my responsibility for myself, for my elders, for my kids, to be a part of the uncomfortable parts.
So the thing that gave me the courage, surprisingly, is not one specific thing. It was more so responsibility. I'm a black woman. If I don't speak up for another black woman, what is my purpose? To watch my fellow black brother or sister go down for something that's inhumane? What kind of person does that make me at the end of the day? If I can go home and go to sleep with being okay with, oh, another black person died. Oh, well, at least it's not me. No. Just because it's not us personally doesn't mean it doesn't affect us as a whole. And it could be us personally. That's what you have to think about. At the end of the day, it could be me. Every black person, it can be me. Because it's the likelihood of it being you is so high.
What motivated me to step up and speak up with what happened with Sandra Bland was the fact that she was a human being who did not deserve to die in jail. It wasn't like, I mean, she's a woman, she's a black woman, she's a member of the community, she graduated from Prairie View. Like, there are so many different factors that, you know, could go into it, but at the root of it all, there was an injustice that took place. And so that's all I needed to get involved. And so that, and then the fact that it happened during the summer, so a lot of students were at home. And so I felt in a natural responsibility or duty to speak up and say something, because if I didn't, then who would? And so my mother didn't raise me to be the type of person to wait for somebody else to do it when you very well can do it yourself. So however I could, you know, I looked to make sure I was on the right path before I said anything. But after some prayer, I had to say something. And all I needed was the fact that an injustice was done.
I believe that anything that happens to a Prairie View student, whether it's really great or a tragedy like what happened to Sandra Bland, it's important for the university to acknowledge, because good or bad, it affects everyone here.
I believe that there's a stigma that comes with being an activist, that comes with holding a microphone and, you know, always being on the front lines of political events, which I have had my part in that. But I believe that being an activist is also being behind the scenes to act. When you see an injustice, then you take action, no matter what the level of that injustice may be. So whether it be in the classroom, whether it be on Sandra Bland Parkway, wherever that injustice is taking place, if you can stand and you can represent and speak for those who haven't been spoken for, then that's an activist. So honestly, I think I am then. I just answered my own question.
It's exciting to be involved in something that you know is important, that you know that needs to happen, but you're not sure of the outcome.
I would want to be known as a woman, a leader, a person who is strong, confident, beautiful, compassionate, and not afraid. So I'm standing right here where Sandra Bland was arrested. If you look this way, that is the entrance to Prairie View A&M University. And then if you walk a little bit down the road over here, you look this way, this is where City Councilman Johnny Miller was tased for no reason. People are afraid to drive on this street and be harassed. People are afraid if they drive on this street, will they be stopped? Will they be accosted? All of that goes into play, and that affects literally our minds, how we study, how we get ready for the day. All of that goes into what we do here at Prairie View A&M University. And I just want people to know that we can do something to change that, and we don't have to feel that way. We shouldn't.